Cowardice is the mother of cruelty. Never has this been more true than it has been in the last week, especially in Texas. I will admit I was physically nauseated, physically ill when I heard that there were full-grown men in body armor, armed, standing outside, waiting for the order to go in to engage that teenager who was doing those awful things in that elementary school. It was unbelievable to me, this level of cowardice. But it does explain something. If this is the attitude of law enforcement in Southwest Texas, it explains the border problem perfectly. I don't want to hear another word about it until Texas fixes its law enforcement cowardice issue. Here's the face of it right here. This giant, bald, obese coward is the one who kept his armed men with body armor and sidearms from going in and engaging that teenager. Some might say, well, he had AR-15s, Maki. They can't. You give me 5 guys with sidearms, we'll take out one 18-year-old with an AR-15 quickly. Now, many people have tried to divine some way of stopping this over the last 20, 25, 30 years, maybe even longer. Most of their solutions are expensive, would require huge infrastructure investments, and are complicated. I have an easy solution. Do you want to see the opposite of cowardice? Here's the opposite of cowardice. Especially when it comes to kids. Belgian Malinois, German Shepherds, you train them, you put them in the schools, wandering around randomly. 2, maybe 3, depending on the size of the school. I guarantee they don't go run outside and wait for orders to attack. And yeah, gunman might get the first one, maybe wing the second, but the third one is going to rip its throat out. They have zero fear. Zero fear. And just like anyone else carrying a ballistic weapon, you can only fire in one direction at any one time. If there's 2 or 3 of them and you don't know what direction they're coming from, and they're moving fast, barking their heads off, well, first of all, it's the alarm to sound for everybody to lock the doors. And this would be an easy fix. This would be something doable, something that would have a real effect right now. Especially if you put the signs out front. We have dogs, big ones, mean ones, randomly roaming the halls who don't care about your AR-15. Because when you have this, police officers restraining adults trying to save their kids, something is really wrong with that society. Now, you want to have one of those oh shit moments? This guy in his dad shirt and dad jeans soloed the dude. He didn't go with it. He soloed him. He took him out one-on-one. Not to use a gaming term here, but that's what this is. See, there are 5 guys outside who didn't think that they could go in as a raid team and take the guy out. This guy walks in, this dad dude. And let me zoom in here real quick. See this gray? Ladies who have joined us over at the Florida Maki Patreon channel, what have I been harping on for the last 2 weeks? You want to feel safe in a grid down situation? You want somebody who ain't going to be afraid? Find yourself an older guy. This old dad guy, mid-40s, late 40s, went in and soloed this cat. We have been talking about this, 2-part videos. talking about women specifically and what they should look for in a grid down situation in a partner. Many other solutions to self-protection as well, but one of the best solutions is to not be alone. And if you're not going to be alone, what might be your best choice? Now, those of you here at YouTube have seen me talk about this series Colony, probably ad nauseum at this point, and the situation that occurred with this much younger girl, 18 years younger, and she was in a position where her kid needed insulin, and the only way she could get it was by romancing this guy. And he didn't necessarily know that was the case at the time, but, he made the best of the situation. And strangely enough, they ended up finding love in real life after this role. Some of you might remember this actress, Amanda Rigetti, from The Mentalist, and he also played a role in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But that's not the real crazy part of this. This is Adrian Pasdar. This is the actor from Colony that I'm referring to here. Now, I want you guys to look at something, and we'll cover this quote here in a minute. This is the guy here on the left that went in and took out that Ramos cat, soloed him. This is Adrian Pasdar. The guy that I've been talking about probably for the last, 2 months now? They could be brothers. It is really, really weird. And Adrian Pasdar is, I want to get this right, he's born in 65, so what would that make him? 57? 57 years old, and that would make Amanda Rigetti, she's 18 years younger, so she was born in 83, so you can do the math. 39. But this is the real key. The real key to the old guy stuff. Cowardice, as distinguished from panic, is almost always simply a lack of ability to suspend the functioning of the imagination. And what does the Bible say about vain imaginations? Learning to suspend your imagination and live completely in the very second of the present, with no before and no after, is the greatest gift a soldier can acquire. This is another picture of Adrian Pasdar from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He looks just like the guy. It's really spooky. But it also goes to this argument of alpha versus beta males. I'm going to say right now, ladies, with what's coming, anyone younger than 40 would be a risk. I don't care how old you are, anyone younger than 40 will be a risk for cowardice. I have another question too. I wonder what would have happened if there had been a child of one of the Zetas in that classroom. You see, we hear all this talk about, we got to stop the gang members, we got to stop the gang members. I wonder what would have happened if there had been a child of a gangbanger in that school. You think those cowards would have stopped them? Ladies, I'm telling you right now, this is not who you want to be in a grid down situation. It's just that simple. You need somebody in your life you can count on, or you're going to be put in a position. See, this was a choice. It wasn't her first choice in the series, but it was the best choice. And now we see that time has given this proof. Do not underestimate the power of psychology and changing the way you make decisions. And this goes for older men too. You may have to step up and perform a role in someone's life because it's the right thing to do. And it's the honorable thing to do. Just like this guy did. I'm sure he has people who love him and people he loves. And I don't know that the man had any interest in any person in that school. A child or a friend or anything, but he went and put his life on the line for it. And he got the job done. And he was an old guy. While there were a whole bunch of heavily armed young guys outside, too chicken shit to do anything. So in lieu of that, this is an easy fix. This is a super easy fix to put these in schools. German Shepherds, Belgian Malinois, especially Malinois. Shepherds are a little bigger and stronger, but Malinois are absolutely insane. For those of you that haven't seen one, they can jump almost like a cat can. Their acrobatics are just nuts. They will literally jump and bite someone's face, 6-foot tall man, and rip them to the ground. This would be an easy... And what's the worst that's going to happen? Some kids get distracted by scritching some doggie's ears, and they're a couple minutes late for class. Give them a couple extra minutes. I mean, talk about making kids feel safe and protected. And giving them a little bit of joy in the process. It's exactly, after 2020, that's exactly what our kids need right now. This would be a perfect solution. Have dogs randomly roaming the halls in elementary schools. You watch how fast this shit stops. I guess I'll just leave that there before I say something to get me in trouble with the powers that be. This can't happen. This can never happen again. This guy deserves a medal and maybe to be the governor of Texas. But join us at Patreon. This is what we're talking about. The realities of situations like this and the decision-making processes and how they have to fundamentally change to deal with what's coming. You can't wait until it arrives. You've got to do it now. $1, fully refundable. Fully refundable first 90 days. Zero risk. Lowest allowable level. God bless. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time. Happy Memorial Day.